Chumash for Wednesday, and it's long today. So we had a couple days of quickies, and now we got to make up. We have to pay back. Okay, today's Chumash, the fourth Aliyah for the Parsha of Boy. The synopsis will be like this. In preparation for the Exodus, God instructs Moshe and Aaron concerning the Jewish calendar, which is based primarily on the monthly lunar cycle. God then commanded Moshe and Aaron to tell the Jewish people to prepare a lamb or kid goat to slaughter and eat on the night of the 14th day of the first month, Nisan. In preparation for the plague of slaying the firstborn, God told the Jews to put some of the blood of the Passover animal on their doorways. This will be a sign for the angel of death to skip over their homes, leaving their own firstborn unharmed. God told the Jews the animal they were to eat this night would be called the Paschal animal, the Pesach offering. All right, Dalit. Moshe said to Pharaoh, at around midnight, I'm going to go out in the midst of Egypt. Rashi points out, Moshe said to Pharaoh, he said this, and standing before Pharaoh, he said this, because yesterday we ended that he left Pharaoh, and he says, I'm never going to see you again till, you come running. So now, did he come back? No. This he said before he left. It's the famous Jewish actor, I forget his name, Columbo. Yeah. One more thing. He's like character. Oh, just one more thing, Okay. Kachatzeis halayla. Kechalek halayla means the point where the night. Kachatzeis means at the dividing point of the night. So we call that midnight. Yeah. Kachatzeis. So the Rashi points out the third Rashi on the page. Kachatzeis k'mei ba'alois. Grammatical form is similar to as it rose. B'chareis apam banu, when their anger is kindled against us. Zeu pshutei liyashar afnav she'ein chatzei shem davar shel chetzi. This is the straightforward meaning to explain it according to its plain sense that chatzei is not a noun. It's not a noun form of chatzi. Pshutai is to explain according to. So the way Rashi translates it is chatzos is really a verb at the splitting of the night, because really chatzos is not a noun. Our rabbis explain this as another detail. Kiva chatzos halayla. And Moshe specifically spoke in this way at about half of the night, or about the splitting of the night. He didn't say at midnight, he said about midnight, meaning give or take, before or after. And he did not say at, the proper tone would have been at midnight, when the clock strikes 12. Maybe Yitu Instagnini Power of Moshe Badehu, because maybe the Pharaoh's astrologers, they would make a mistake of when midnight is, by a few minutes, and then they would say, "Oh, Moshe, Moshe, you're a liar. You didn't actually deliver. It was 11:56. It wasn't midnight." And they thought it was midnight, but it was really 11:56. So Hashem knows exactly. It was Takid. Is at midnight, but they might know. So he gave Pharaoh a little bit of wiggle room to say it's around midnight. Don't start coming to me with complaints. Hey, every firstborn in the land of Egypt will die. From Pharaoh's firstborn, who is to sit on his throne, ad b'char shivcha, until the firstborn of the maidservant, Asher Achar Harechayim, that she's behind the millstone, meaning a lowly, grinding maidservant. B'chol b'char be'ema, and all the firstborn animals. Hey, ad b'char shvi, lama lako shviyim, kadesh liyamru, yirosim tav milbeinam ve'aviyah puranas mitzrayim. Why were the prisoners smit? Oh, they skipped. This is actually going on later. Well, actually, they point this on the bottom. In the next verse, it'll talk about, or later on, in verse 1229. So what are we saying now? Whatever reason, that the prisoners were smitten. Why? They shouldn't say that, oh, well, we were, let's say, Mesopotamians in prison. Oh, it was the Mesopotamian god that did it. They shouldn't say it was, So they had to be smitten also. From Pharaoh's firstborn to the maidservant, meaning this is saying the ends of the spectrum, right? That from the lowliest firstborns to the royal firstborns. So everything in the middle is included. Pharaoh being the highest firstborn to the lowest firstborn, anything in between is included. Why were the sons of the non-Jewish maidservants struck? Because they too subjugated the Israelites and rejoiced at their misery. So they too were deserving of punishment.
They were happy.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. All the firstborn animals, they were also smitten. Why? Because when Hashem punishes a nation, he punishes its gods, and they worship the animals.
Boy.
All right. Vav. There'll be a great cry throughout the land of Egypt, Asher Niyasam, the like of which has never been, and never will be again. Zayin l'chol b'nei Yisrael, but towards all the children of Israel, lo yechrat kelev l'shaynai, no dog will wet its tongue to bark, nor to a man or to an animal. This so you shall realize that it is Hashem who differentiates between the Egyptians and the Israelites. I'm of the opinion that the word yechratz is an expression, it's unusual expression, it means sharpening. And no dog will sharpen its tongue,
It's the originator. Throw it to the dogs.
Similarly, we see in Yeshua that actually just learned this, no one wetted his tongue against any children. It's an expression of like wetting your, I don't know what wet means. Wet is like wet, you're wetting. Yeah, wet means, okay, wet doesn't mean wet, it means sharpening the blade, just so you know. So no one will WHET their tongue, which is like, getting in attack mode. Will not sharpen its tongue. That was sharpening the tongue is a thing.
Any bad stuff and all that.
To bark. All right. Anyways, we see elsewhere in Shmuel Beis, Oz Techratz. It translates to Shtanin, Lemoirig Charutz in Yeshaya, Shanun, Machshvesh Charutz in Proverbs, Adam Charutz b'Shanun, Yad Charutzim Tashir, and the hand of the sharp ones, astute merchants, makes them rich. Asher Yafle Yavdil means that he will differentiate. Ches Yardu Chalav Elei B'Shtach V'Limar. all these servants of yours will then come down to me and prostrate themselves before me, saying, Say, leave you and all the people who follow you. And then after that I shall leave. He then left Pharaoh's presence in a fury. So Moshe said the name of Hashem before he left him. It's going to be a big plague of the firstborn, and all your servants are going to come beg me to leave, us to leave. But Yetzin and Pare b'Chariyav, and then Pharaoh. Then he left Pharaoh in a fury, in a huff, more than a huff, huffy fury. All the servants of yours will then come down. Moshe allowed. So the truth is, Moshe spoke in euphemism that your servants are going to come begging me to let the Jews go. But really, he meant you are going to let me go. But he wanted to speak respectfully, I didn't say you are going to come groveling. He said your servants. Because the truth is, we see, and then later on the verse, Pharaoh, Basef Yarapari Batzmai, Elov Balayla. Pharaoh himself went down. And Moshe never said that you're going to come down. So this was actually where he said you're going to come down. Asher Baraglecha, the servants at your feet, or the people at your feet. You're going to come, you basically will come with the entire people from your land. I'm sorry, those that follow after your advice, your ways, your gang, Then I shall leave with all the people from your land. He then left Pharaoh's presence. When he finished his words, he left B'chariyaf with an anger, because Pharaoh said to him, Al Teiseres Panai. Why is Moshe angry? By the way, I was listening to a podcast to a shir, and there was a great rabbi, the Chassam Sefer, I think 17th century. He was in Pressburg, in Slovakia. Anyways, someone asked him, what's one book of Torah commentary that encompasses everything? Right? And he said the Mizrahi, the super commentary, Rabbi Eliyahu Mizrahi wrote a commentary on Rashi. He says, you do that, you're getting everything, because Rashi is kind of like a distilled version of a lot, and this guy is unpacking a lot. Interesting to know. Okay, anyways. So Mizrahi says that, why is Moshe angry? Pharaoh should be angry. He was the one threatened. Moshe was angry that Pharaoh said, don't see my face again. And why does that make Moshe angry? For disrespect to God's prophet? So who cares what Pharaoh said? Right? Mm-hmm. So, yeah, whatever. Moving along, we got a lot to do. Okay. Tess. Hashem's the Pharaoh, Moshe. Pharaoh will not listen to you. In order that my wonders be multiplied in the land of Egypt. Yod. Moshe Aaron also is called Moshe Aaron did all the wonders before Pharaoh. And Hashem strengthened the heart of Pharaoh, hardened it, and he did not release them. Okay, test. I skipped. Rashi said, Meifsai plural is 2, reverse many is 3 minimum. It's referring to the death of the plague of the firstborn to come, the split of the Red Sea, and the drowning of the Egyptians in the sea, the tossing of them in the sea. Yod and Rashi, Moshe Aaron also, Moshe Aaron did what they performed. The Torah already wrote this in the description of all the preceding wonders, the first 9. I'm repeating here to connect to the following section. Because Moshe and Aaron did all those other 9 plagues, that's why Hashem says the next thing to them. All right, chapter 12. Aleph, Vayemer Hashem Moshe v'Aaron, bears time lamer. Hashem said to Moshe and Aaron in the land of Egypt, saying, Vayemer Hashem Moshe v'Aaron, Rashi, he said it, I'm sorry, since Aaron had acted and troubled himself in performing the wonders like Moshe, God therefore accorded him this honor in the first commandment. Sheklali Moshe v'Dibur, including him with Moshe in the address. So the first mitzvah ever, Aaron was included in that, which is because he was part of Moshe's team, a helper to do the plagues. With fearlessness, Eretz Yisrael, land of Egypt, he said to them in Egypt, but outside the main city, maybe inside the city. Tam Lamer, we said earlier, when Moshe said, I have to leave the city to pray. If a basic prayer, tefillah kalei spal b'sech krach, if Moshe couldn't pray to God inside the pagan city because there was too many idols, a dibur chomer kazek, a divine communication, a divine communication. He could do it in this pagan city. He must have left the city. He's on the rural area. This month for you is the first of the month. It's the first. It is to be to you the first, the Chadshon of the months of the year. Rashi, this month. Zeh is a point. It's like pointing. Hashem showed him what the new moon looks like in its first stage of renewal. But when the noon renews itself like this, then you know it's Rosh Chodesh. The simple meaning is that he was saying on this month of Nisan, that will be the first of the counting of the months, and followed by Iyar, followed by Yesivan. Hazeh, this. So Zeh is very like revelation. Zeh, this. So Moshe didn't really understand. He had difficulty understanding the new moon in the mathematics. So Hashem showed him a slideshow, showed him the new moon. He pointed to the new moon. He said, when you see it like this, that means it's a new month. How did Hashem show him? But wait a second. Didn't Hashem only communicate with him in the daytime, as it said, Vahi b'yem dibra Hashem, the day that Hashem spoke? Yem tzasoi, the day he was commanded. From the day. They take a look, not just the day as in the day of the calendar, but the day as in daytime, daylight. So rather close to sunset, he showed him the moon when it was dusk, basically. There's a moon then already. Gimel, Dabra, Kaldas Yisrael Lemar. Speak to the congregation of Israel, saying, on the 10th of this month, they should take for themselves each man a lamb per ancestral house, a lamb per household. Lamb per family, lamb per ancestral house, I guess, family, lamb per household. Rashi, Dabra Koldas, speak the congregation. Now, wait a second. Dabra is plural. Use guys speak. It's plural. But did Aaron speak? Moshe spoke. Moshe commanded them. Moshe was the lawgiver. Rather, Moshe and Aaron accord each other honor. And they thus said, teach me what to say. And thus, the divine word issued from both of them as if they were both speaking. Yeah. So in this mitzvah, they were learning b'chavrusa, and everybody heard, I guess.
It originated first time. Chavrusa.
Maybe speak to the children of Israel, saying the 10th of the month. Speak today on Rosh Chodesh that in 10 days' time they're going to take the lamb. Hazem. This month, this teaches us the Paschal lamb in Egypt was to be taken on the 10th of Nisan. But that was not the case in the future. You didn't take in the temple times. You didn't take the lamb on the 10th of the month for 4 days. You didn't need to have the carp in the bathtub for 4 days, or the sheep in your front yard for 4 days. That was a one-time thing in Egypt.
But I thought everybody checks, even nowadays, 4 days to make sure they're.
I have no idea. It's a separate thing, but it's not. Maybe technically, but it's not. It's not a requirement.
What?
Celebrate salvation, a lamb per ancestral family, per family. I might think even if a family were many, they need only one lamb.
What I thought.
They only require one lamb for all. Let's say a huge family need one lamb, so it says celebrate, a lamb per household. So it says for family per household. That bias means let's say the family, is a patriarch with a bunch of kids and a lot of grandkids, so you only need one lamb. There won't be enough meat, so it goes for a household family side, which is enough meat.
You get more if you don't run short.
Yeah. Dalit. If, however, the house was too small to require the whole lamb, they can't finish it. Then they can take a lamb together with your neighbor who's nearest his home. Every man according to his you shall be counted for the lamb. I'm sorry. Each man according to his ability to eat, is counted for the lamb. You can't have waste. You want to use up the whole lamb. You get enough families to chip in. Rashi, there's too few people to eat the whole lamb, and there's going to be leftover meat that you have to burn and throw out. To take with your neighbor, that's the simple meaning. Another way is the medrash, there's a medrash as well in it, to teach you that after that it was counted on him, there's a medrash to teach that after the members of the household have been counted as one group, they may reduce their number by withdrawing from it on another lamb. You can switch. You can choose who you're doing your partnership with, which neighbor. You can only do it till you have to do this while the lamb is still alive. But when it's slaughtered, you can't do it. So that's what it's saying. Yimat habayis means that if you want to back out, you can only do it as long as the lamb is still a lamb, alive. The michsas, as Rashi means accounting, cheshbon, according to the eaters. This excludes, you don't count someone who's sick who can't eat or an elderly person who can't eat, the kazayas. Chaysu, again, means shall be counted. Tisminun. Said Tamim Zachar ben Shana, lachem min akvasim nizim tikachu. You shall have a perfect male lamb in its first year. From the lambs and from the goats, you shall take it. Vav, shall be your Vav. I'm sorry, Rashi. Tamim, perfect, no blemish. And Shana in the first year. It was born in this year. From lambs or kids, either one, because a kid is also called a lamb elsewhere. Vav, next page. Shall be in your care until the 14th day of this month, and they shall slaughter it. They shall slaughter it. The whole congregation of Israel shall slaughter it in the afternoon. Okay. You watch for 4 days to the 14th, then you slaughter it in the afternoon. Rashi, shall be in your care. What does it mean to your care? This is an expression of examination for blemishes for 4 days before the slaughter. Why did God? So I don't know if all animals still need 4 days of checking. I don't know that.
I think I asked because of this question, and I think they said they do it now. I'm not saying all, I'm just saying.
How long?
Definitely at Mishnah they had 4 days. I just heard a Mishnah.
Really?
It used to be 4 days.
I think it is, you can check.
They check animals for bikur for shechita. There's no specific time. There's no requirement.
They don't do it?
Doesn't seem like it. That's what AI says.
What?
AI says no 4 days currently. I don't know. All right, whatever. It shall be in your care. This is Bikur. Why did God command to take the animal for 4 days for the slaughter? And he did not command them regarding the Paschal lamb in the future generations. Yeah, it says clearly in the future, any time before the slaughter, they did a Bikur, they did a examination.
They didn't do it.
So why here 4 days? Right? Masya Bar Chodesh said, it says in Yecheskel, referring to God taking the Jews out, I passed over you and saw you. Indeed, your time was the time of love. The time for fulfilling the oath to Abraham that I'm going to redeem his kids had arrived. The problem is that you didn't have enough merits to deserve redemption. Okay?
Who?
The Jews.
Uh,
As it says, Va'at Edom ve'eria, you were naked and bare of mitzvahs. So Hashem gave them 2 mitzvahs, the dam, the blood of the Paschal lamb, the Pesach, 4 days, and the blood of the Milah, circumcision that they got circumcised before that night, or at that night. It says, you were wallowing in your blood. In 2 bloods, your bloods. Yeah. Through the blood of your covenant of circumcision, I released you from a pit that has no water. There's the prophets talking about Hashem, talking about the redemption.
The first 2 messages, one was first meal, what's the other one?
Pesach,
Right.
the first Pesach sacrifice. That's a one-time deal.
What?
I guess it's a one-time deal.
No, Pesach we do now.
Leaving in 4 days.
Right. So it's,
Yeah. And because they were so steeped in idolatry, that's why Hashem said, draw and take for yourself the lamb. Meaning draw also means withdraw. Withdraw yourself from idolatry and take for yourself the lamb of a mitzvah. So the point is that this was part of their rehabilitation. They shall slaughter it. Could they all slaughter the lamb? Rather, it means it said they shall all slaughter. They couldn't all slaughter. Each group can only do 1 person or 2. Here we learn the principle of a shluchah shel adam k'maaseh, a person's agent is like your own. You could appoint the slaughterer to do your lamb for you. Kahal Adas Yisrael, assembled congregation of Israel. Kol v'edav Yisrael, it says 3 terms for assembly, right, for Jews, the assemblage, the congregation, Israel. Here we learn that when they slaughtered the public's Paschal lambs, Pischei Tzibur, they were slaughtered in 3 groups. The first one enter, they would close the doors, they would slaughter it, and then so on. As it says in Tractate Pesachim. Ben Arbaim in the afternoon, from the end of 6 hours onward is called Ben Arbaim.
This might not be the deal. Why did it say close the door?
Look it up there.
Okay.
6 hours and on is called where the sun inclines towards the sun inclines towards the evening to set. So that's already after. That's what he's saying. Bein Arbaim between. So it's between the evenings. The hours that are between the beginning of the setting of the sun, the moving of the sun to set, to the darkening of the night. So it's basically the beginning. When the sun, even it's bright, the sun's already going that direction. That's the beginning of the darkening, and the night is the beginning. The beginning is the next. Is the end of the dark. The culmination of the darkening, and the darkening of the night of the day is already in the 7th hour, beginning of the 7th hour, because the shadows of evening begin to incline, and the darkening of night is considered the beginning of night. So between the evenings, between the darkenings, and erev means darkening. As you see, Arvo calls Simcha, the joys become darkened. Whew.
Go off so far.
Holy moly.
Yeah, but it's not that many more.
All right, let's go little pedal to the metal. Zion, v'lochem and adam ne'os al shem mezuzah v'al mashkev. You should take from the blood and put it on the two doorposts and the lintel. Alabotim on the houses, wherever the animals, the lamb is eaten. Zion, v'lochem and adam zukaval sadam. This is the receiving of the blood, as we see in the. You might think by hand. It says ba'asher basav in the bowl. Part of the carbon you receive some of the blood in a bowl, then spritz it on the altar. Here it's you're spritzing it you're painting on the doorpost. Mezuzahs are the vertical door frame, the vertical door. Achas mekan, lepesav achas mekan. One here, one there. Hamashkeif. The lintel is the upper beam upon which the door strikes when one closes it. Lintel in Old French, the term shkifa means beating, as in the sound of rustling leaf. This is where nidaf is translated as the shakif, chabura, or mashkefe. Okay. Lintels where the door beats against. Okay. The houses where they'll eat it, not upon the doors in the barn, the doorposts in the barn, or the cattle shed where people don't eat and live. That's to be where they're eating it. Ches, they should eat the meat on that night. Roasted with matzahs, almredim with bitter herbs. They should eat it. Rashi, they should eat the meat. The meat means the meat, not the sinews and the bones. Don't eat that. Spit those out. Almredim with, on top of bitter herbs, any bitter herb is called maror. God commanded them to eat bitter herbs in order to remind them that the Egyptians had bittered your lives. Even though you're about to leave, okay. It was bitter. It was a bitter past. Test. I'll take lemon no do not eat it if it's half cooked or boiled in any way in water. Kim sliesh, rather with roasted. Reishal krav, roasted with head, its feet, kirbai, and innards, all in the spit, Test Rashi. I'll take lemon no. Do not eat it if it's half cooked. Meat which is not fully roasted is called non-Arabic. It's boiled in any way. All this is part of the prohibition of do not eat. Ramayim in water. Where do we know that this prohibition applies to other liquids? The Torah teaches us by saying it's saying it's boiled in any way. Only roasted. Above, where it stated the sacrifice was eaten roasted, the Torah ordained it in the form of a positive commandment. Here it's a negative. Don't eat it unless it's roasted. Okay. Reishal Krav, head upon its feet. They would roast it all together as well with its head, its feet, and all its entrails. and its intestines he put inside it after they've been rinsed. The expression al krav al kirboy is similar to the expression al tzevaisam, which means with or bit tzevaisam. All of them as they are, this too means as its entire flesh is whole. There's a kosher luau. Good. Don't leave over any of the meat till the morning. But if there is meat left over, be burned in the fire. Rashi, why are you saying it twice? Don't leave it to the morning, and if it's left to the morning, why are you saying it twice? To put morning upon morning. Because morning could mean there's 2 points of beginning of morning. Morning could be sunrise or dawn. Neitzacham is sunrise and dawn. The Torah says here, hold on a second. So basically, if any meat is left over by dawn, so it's morning, not just regular morning, sunshine, sunrise, but even dawn. Oid midrashay, another matter says, is telling you that we derive another law here, that the morning teaches whenever the Paschal lamb is left over, it's not burned on the festival itself, but on the next day. You have to wait. You can't eat it, but you can't burn on Yom Tov. So you have to wait till the next morning to burn it. Okay. Yud Aleph. This is how you shall eat it. Your waist belted, your shoes on your feet, your stick in your hand. You shall eat it in haste. Pesach Hashem is a Paschal offering for Hashem.
What did you say about burning after Yom Tov?
You have nicer, you have leftover meat. You can't burn on Yom Tov.
Right.
You can't eat it, but you can't burn it. So you wait for Chol Hamoed to burn it. Mosnechem, you eat it with your waist belted, meaning ready for the journey. Have your coat on. Bechipazin, this is an expression of hurriedness and haste, like leaving a flurry. Haste. Pesach Hashem, it's a Paschal offering for Hashem. This carbon, surprise, as a name, is called a Pesach Hashem, because of the skipping that Hashem will skip over the Jewish houses from the Egyptian houses, from one Egyptian house to the next, skipping over the Jew in the middle. And therefore, you're doing this whole service to honor God who did this miracle for you. In honor of God. Oh no, I'm sorry. Therefore, because this whole thing is called Pesach, I never knew this. Since you're eating this to commemorate God's, taking you out and saving you from the plague of the firstborn, and God did it in a way of skipping, meaning of quick, Jack be nimble, Jack be quick, and then you should also eat it b'chipazon. You should eat it quickly.
We do.
I don't know. I haven't eaten it. I haven't had a Paschal lamb.
Right?
I guess. I'm not sure if that's what it's referring to. Maybe.
I wouldn't.
Here it's different. No, here I think it's saying that. I don't know if that's for history. It's like, then eat it quick. You're going out soon.
Yeah.
I don't know if later generation they eat it quickly. I don't know. You have to have the kazayas. Because you have to have a kazayas within a certain amount of time. It's a technical problem. It's not anything you have to eat in the
No,
kazayas.
the last month, we gotta eat too, right? We gotta eat-
Why is it quickly? Where's the quickliness?
Isn't it connected to this?
I'm saying, where do you see that quick? Why is that quickly? In your own experience, where's quickness there? You're eating it within 4 minutes? I don't know if that's considered quickness. I'm not sure.
Okay. Martha, you try, you don't take it?
Well, that's the thing, I don't know if it fits, but I mean, eating the last month, it kind of symbolizes. that you're
Yeah,
saying,
it's this,
okay,
yeah.
The meal's over, we're leaving now.
Maybe
No
saying,
more.
so eat it to be done.
Kind of get the
Eat
meal
it to
over
be
with and
done.
go. Right. Eat it to
Maybe.
be done.
Let's say the Uzdin edition says.
But I like the idea that all of the roasting kind of fits in that pattern too, because roasting will be faster than boiling. Right?
Oh,
I mean, you just throw it in a flame, huh?
I don't know, is it?
I think it would, yeah. You just throw it in a flame. Boiling is a slow. I would guess. First you gotta heat the water and then you gotta let it cook.
So you gotta light the fire, you gotta put it on the spit.
you should command, you should,
Fire
you,
in both cases.
so I think that the way it says here, the way they say, you should perform the rites of the night, the Pesach, Matzah, Morer, in a energetic, hasty way.
Right.
I don't know if it's just a hasty to like be done with it. It's just energetically. Like Hashem energetically, so to speak, went from house to house. Save the Jews, punish the Egyptians energetically. That would mean take a little more. All right, Yud Beis. I will pass through the land of Egypt on that night. And I will smite every firstborn in Egypt. Mantle, beast, animal, against all the gods of Egypt, I am Hashem. I will pass. I will pass like a king from place to place, that with one passing or in one moment, all will be smitten. Like it will take place very quickly. Okay. Every firstborn in Egypt, meaning even other foreigners living in Egypt, who were then in Egypt. And where do we know that the firstborns of Egypt were in other places were smitten? I mean, let's say the Egyptians were living in Vegas. How do you know they would get smitten?
Okay.
A man until animal. With the one who started the sin began the punishment. So man gets punished for the animals. Against, I will carry judgments against all the idols of Egypt. Meaning, even if they had wooden statues, they rotted. And if they had metal statues, they melted. And if they poured to the ground. As I will carry judgment myself, I myself, not through a messenger. The blood will act for you as a sign in the houses where you are. And the blood will be for you like a sign on the houses that you're there, and I will see the blood, and I will jump over it. I'll skip over you. You will not. There will be no destructive plague among you. It's time when I smite the land of Egypt. The blood will act here as a sign. It will act as a sign for you, but not as a sign for others. Meaning, here we see the Jews place the blood on the inside of the doorpost. Very interesting. They didn't. They placed it on the inside. But people didn't see it. They saw it.
They saw it in the angel.
I'm saying fine, but because I'm just saying because a lot of times when we look at the Paschal Lamb was also like a eating the god of the Egyptians in front of them.
Right.
But this part was not like in their face. This was
The slaughtering.
slaughtering. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, but it was for the Jews inside, right?
I'm right. I'm comparing. It's different than the way we look at it.
Sure.
Adam, so that I see the blood. Everything is always visible to Hashem. So why say Hashem sees it? Like, duh, if it's there, Hashem sees it. Hashem saying, I will turn my attention. A lot of times we say Hashem goes to look, it means he turns attention to those that are doing my mitzvahs, and therefore I will pass over you.
Mitzvahs.
Meaning you do this, so like my good attention will be, the good vibes will come to you to save you, so to speak. I will look. It will be apparent that I'm attending to you. I'm being attentive to your goodness, your mitzvahs, and therefore you'll be saved.
Oh, man.
It'll be apparent that I'm attentive. I think it's the point.
The deal, it's another deal.
No, chesed from
They're
Hashem.
making a deal. Something.
Ufasachti, I will count. This is an interesting Rashi. I think every year we talk about this. I marvel at it. Rashi translates it firstly as not I will jump over, but rather I will have mercy. That's Rashi's first. I will have pity. 32 at the bottom. Pasachti. So some say it has the meaning of I will have pity. Okay, so Rashi, but I say it means skipping. I will skip over from the Jewish house to the Egyptian houses because they were dwelling amongst each other. Very interesting.
Rabbi, before you say this, did you say Rashi said that it's,
He's quoting others.
okay.
I will have mercy. I say means skipping. I don't know if were all the Jews amidst the Egyptians or just some, because didn't they have Goshen still?
Yeah.
Goshen was originally, maybe they lost Goshen. I don't know.
Maybe they had Goshen, but maybe they had neighbors in Goshen.
Oh,
Maybe
could
they
be,
were
could be.
from the other-
Or yeah. And that we see the term in Eliyahu. Paiseach means leaping upon the two, like leaping on the two fences. V'chein kol hapsachim hapischim holchim mechitzim. All lame people. A lame person is called a piseach because the way they get around is like, I guess it's clumsily. It's like springing.
Yeah.
Piseach himlet, he who skips over him and delivers him from those among who are being killed. Okay, v'leivim negef, there will not be any destructive plague, but there will be among the Egyptians. Now, there won't be plague, but the Egyptians will. Now, if an Egyptian were in the house of Israel, of a Yisrael, of Israelite, I may have thought he'd be saved. The Torah therefore says, no. Even in your house, no one's saved if they're not Jewish.
Wow.
But there will be with a Mitzri who is in your house. And if a Yisrael were in the house of a Mitzri, if a Yisrael was in the house of Mitzri, Shemeani Lukei Kamaisei, I hear, I may have understood that he would be smitten like the Egyptian. So this is basically speaking of the scenario where the Egyptians in the Jewish house, the Jews in the Egyptian house. You're safe either way, and they're not safe either way. And that day shall be for you as a remembrance. You shall rejoice on it. You celebrate it as a festival to Hashem. But there is saying, it shall be an everlasting statute that you should celebrate. Rashi. It should be a remembrance for generations. You shall celebrate this day, the remembrance, a day which will be for you as remembrance, you shall celebrate. But we have not yet heard which is the day of remembrance. The next verse will say, later on will say, remember the day that you left Egypt. That's the day of celebration. And the Exodus day was the day of remembrance, and that's the day you celebrate. And what day was it? It says the day after the Paschal Lamb they went out. Hold on one second, my son's in the airport.
Am I the only one that's not hearing this?
I'm not hearing it as well.
Oh,
We
okay.
lost the rabbi.
Right.
Sorry, I'm
Oh,
back.
oh,
He's
there
back.
he
He's
is.
back.
Okay,
He's back.
fine.
I'm
Thank
sorry.
you.
My apologies. Okay.
Yeah, that's right. It's not a- it was that one.
Um, we don't even know day. What day is Day of Remembrance? It tells you the day of leaving was the Day of Remembrance. Which day did they go out? It tells you the day after Passover, which is the 15th month of Nisan, is Yom Tov. The night of the 15th, they ate the Paschal Lamb. In the morning, they went out. All right. Yudalid. Tesvav. Next page. Jerisechem through generations. From here, this word I may understand means 2 generations. The Torah says, Chukas, Olam, Tchagu, generation mean 2. Just this year, like this, for 2 generations, and done. No, forever. Tazayin, Shivas Yom Matzes Techelu, 7 days Matzah shall eat, Ach, Bayim Rishonim, in the first day, Tashpis Arbim Techem. You shall already clear out sourdough from your house, Kichol Echametz, whoever eats any chametz, any leavened stuff, V'nichnas and Avashim Yisrael will be cut off from Israel. It's that person will be cut off from Israel. All right. Tes Vav Rashi. No, you wish it was Tesayin. Shivas Yamim, a 7-day period. We said a group of 7 days. A 7-day period, Shimatzis. Another place it says 6 days, Shimatzis. This teaches you on the 7-day Passover, there's no obligation to eat matzah as long as you don't eat chametz. So, also says eat matzah. It doesn't say, I'm sorry. 7 days eat matzahs, 6 days eat matzahs. What's going on here? So that discrepancy tells you that actually you don't have to eat matzahs at all 7 days. One of the days you have to eat matzah. The other 6, it's saying if you want bread, have matzah. How do we know that it's telling you it's voluntarily to only eat? We know you have to have matzah the first night. Maybe you have to have matzah every night. It's not a biblical commandment to eat matzah the next 6 days. The first night is biblical. You must eat matzah. The next 6 days, or in our case, 2 nights, whatever. The remaining days of Pesach, you don't have to eat it. Just have apples, have potatoes. How do we know this? So here's how they go. Here's the Gemara. It says 7 days. 6 days. The 6-day period is a rule in Torah. Something, we say this in the morning, the 13 rules of Torah, Shval Peh. Something that is included in a verse before. And the Torah teaches it again. It's not teaching about itself, rather it's teaching about the whole group. So we first said 7 days. And then it said 6 days. So here's the logic. It says eat matzah 7 days. Seemingly, you must eat matzah every 7 of the 7 days. It repeats itself and says 6 days. We have to go to the room. Right, let me. I think they're doing it. It's a class at 10:30, 11. Hey, go get the doorbell. All right, see what time it's. Ask them also when it is. It's right at the front. Okay. Originally, you have to eat matzah every day. Then it says only 6 days. So 1 day you're free, right? It's optional. The second day it repeats itself.
Where does it say 6 days?
6 days in Devarim later on. The point is it's repeating itself. It says 7 days and it changes as 6 days, so implying that 1 day is optional. So that implies 1 day is optional. But the fact that the Torah came and the fact that Torah it said the same thing with a caveat, that shows that the second time it's a caveat. It said blanket, then it excluded something. That exclusion actually goes on the whole thing. The whole thing is optional. It was included, then you said an example of a caveat of the general rule. So that caveat, the law now goes in the whole first verse now applies that caveat. But then maybe you don't have to have matzah at all. Maybe it's not, you don't have to matzah the first night either. But it says the first night you have to have it, by the evening you have. So put it all together, it's optional to matzah Pesach besides the first night. That's how the rules of engagement work here. But on the first day you shall clear sourdough. On the day before the festival, it's called the Rishon. Okay, so interesting. The first day, it sounds like you get rid of your chametz, but you can't have chametz the first day. So actually, the first here means the eve, because it's first, as in the preceding, the day that's preceding.
You go by night to day.
We find that a preceding day can be called the first day. We find elsewhere in Yoiv, Harishon Adam Tivaled, maybe it means you get rid of your chametz the first day of Pesach. So elsewhere it says no. It says because another verse that contradicts that. It says leishichat al chametz. You cannot slaughter your Paschal lamb already on the eve when you have chametz, implying it's rid of the chametz already by the eve. Okay, hanefesh ahi, that soul. That soul, when the soul that eats chametz is in its full state of being in mind, it thus excludes one who's coerced into eating. Coerced. So the person that eats it with soul, as in mindfully, intentionally, they get, because nefesh also means desire. The person who spitefully eats the chametz with nefesh, with desire, they get the punishment of karis. But if they were coerced to eating it, then they're not punished.
Nefesh means soul. Yeah.
Soul, and it also means desire. So we learned that you have to do it with intention, desire, to get the punishment of karis. Yisrael, from the Israelites, any soul among the Israelites. I might have thought that the person whose chametz we cut off only from Israel. But then he can join another group. He can go join another nation, religion. Talmud Lamer says elsewhere, they'll be cut off from in front of me, in front of God who's omnipresent. Tezayin. On the first day, it shall be designated for holiness. On the seventh day, they'll be designated for holiness. The first day will be a designation of holiness, and the seventh day will be a designation. All work should not be done by him. All what's required for any being to eat. That alone shall be done for you. Rashi. How about holidays? You can't do work. It's an assemblage of holiness, a proclamation of holiness. Right. Exactly. Mikra is the name of a noun. Proclaim it as a day of holiness. In what way? Special eating, drinking, and clothing. No work may be done in these days. This is even through others. You can't have others do work for you. We see that even the idea of can't really have a non-Jew do work for you. There's certain exceptions, but even that you can't. They can't run your business for you on your behalf, or your farming on your behalf. Hu levadai, he alone. Hu v'le machshirav she'ev shel ha'sesim erav yom tiv. I'm sorry. Only what you need to eat for that day. That alone can be done to you. Meaning, only food preparations needed for the day of can be done the day of. But the stuff that can be done before that, it must be done before that. For example, like sharpening your knife, for example, to cut. You can't do that. Do it earlier. But to put it on the fire, you can only do it on the day of, so that you can do. L'chol nefesh, for any being. Interesting. So only what's eaten to every living being, including animals. I mean, you can even make food. It sounds like you make pet food. You can cook your pet food on Yom Tov for the animal. But you're not allowed to cook food for a non-Jew on the holiday, because elsewhere it says for you. It says for you. In other words, you have to do the bare minimum. You have to cook for you and your animals that need dependent on you. You're not allowed to cook for the world. Now you should be very careful of the matzahs. For on this very day, I have brought your groups out of the land of Egypt. And you shall keep this day throughout your generations as an everlasting statute. Okay, Yud Zayin. Ushmartas matzes. You shall be careful of the matzes. What's this all about? That shelo yavoyu lidei chimus. That they do not reach fermentation. Right.
Garden.
From here, our rabbi said, if the dough began to rise, the woman kneading the dough should smooth it over with cold water to prevent it fermenting, because the heat or the air would make it become so. Rabbi Yeshua says, do not read the words of the verse as hamatzos. Do not be careful with the matzahs, but rather be careful of the mitzvahs, the commandments. In the same way, one must not let the matzah ferment by leaving the dough unattended. So too, someone should not let a mitzvah to ferment. Don't delay mitzvahs. I'm sorry.
Bless you.
But if you have the opportunity to do so, do it immediately. Okay. You shall keep this day. You shall keep this day by desisting from creative work. It's meant guarding is don't make it a work day. Throughout your generations, an everlasting statute. Generations and everlasting statute were not mentioned previously in verse 14 regarding the prohibition of doing creative work, but only regard the celebration. Therefore, as repeated here again. I mean, there's two aspects of the holiday. There's like the positive, you're commemorating something, then there's the not working, that's the prohibition. So it said before, the celebratory commemoration, that's forever. Cats, now and forever on Broadway, right? But the prohibition didn't say it's forever. The prohibition didn't say it's forever. So the prohibition is now saying it's forever. Pesach is a no work day. Yud Ches. In the first month, on the 14th day of the month, the 14th day of the month, in the first month, the 14th day of the month, in the evening, you shall eat matzes. Until the 21st day of the month of Nisan in the evening. Okay. Oh, we're almost done. Until the 21st day of the month. Why are you saying this? We said 7. It goes for 7 days. Do the math. 15 plus 7. The last day will be the 21st day. So why are you saying it, spelling it? The Torah doesn't repeat itself. So because it said days, it said, no, including 15. So 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. Including the 15th day. 15, you start the count on the 15th day. The 7th day is 21. 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. But regardless, we don't have to say it. Why are you saying it? Because before we said it goes for 7 days. If you take the Torah literally, it means only days. It means night you can go have some bread or something, or go work, you know. So what's it saying? It had to say here, no, the whole period from beginning of the 15th through the 21st, including the nights. Yud Tes. Shivas Yom Misar Le'Matzah. For a 7-day period, no sourdough may be found in your homes. Kichol Eichol Machmetzes, because whoever is found eating leaven, that person, that person will be cut off from the congregation of Israel. Be he a ger, whether he's a proselyte, whether he's a native of the land. Rashi, You should not, no sourdough may be found in your houses. Where do I know this applies also to the place in your domain? Where do I know this applies also to any place in your domain? Just like the Torah teaches us, anywhere in your domain. Where do I know this applies to any place in your domain? Talmud Lamer, Torah teaches by saying anywhere in your domain. Okay, I'm sorry. It should not be found. This is including not just in your house, but anywhere you own. If you own a warehouse, you can't have it there either. So why is it saying your houses? Why are you confusing me? It means any property, say property. On your boundaries, why are you saying house? So it says, because it qualifies the type of property that cannot have the leaven. What type of property? A property that's like a house. A property that's like a house. Just like this would exclude if you're the property, the leavened property of a non-Jew that you're holding, then it's not your property, and you didn't accept the responsibility because a house is under your jurisdiction.
So you did.
Therefore, you can't have it there.
Right.
The point he's saying is that it means the type of property that you can't have chametz. What type of chametz can't you have in your property? Stuff that's under your jurisdiction. It doesn't belong to you. Technically, it can be in your property. It's not your jurisdiction.
Sure.
Ki oichol machametzes, whoever eats leaven, lanish kares also. This comes to cut off, to punish, to impose the punishment of kares for eating sourdough. But didn't we already say this already? We said the punishment of eating chametz. So that it's telling you, again, it's qualifying what type of chametz. Chametz that's edible. I'm sorry. Why is it saying again? Because you might think you're only chayiv, you're only guilty if you eat chametz that's edible. What if you eat sourdough? Sourdough is not edible. It's something you eat. It's a starter. It's a yeast. So where do we know? If he's so you can't have even sourdough. So then they say sourdough. What do you say? It's kal v'chomer. If you can't have a sourdough, you sure can have edible bread. Because you might have said no, because sourdough is what do you call it? It's a super yeast. It's a super leaven. So maybe that you're chayiv on. So they're to say both.
Good.
Last Bagir as a convert or a native, because the miracle happened to Israel, the Torah to say to Israel, you can say not just natives, but even those that convert. You must not eat 11. We shall eat matzahs wherever you live. Machmetz, you should not eat leaven. This is coming to the prohibition of eating sourdough. Kol machmetz says any leaven includes even mixtures you can't have. You shall eat matzahs wherever you live. This teaches the matzah must be a type that's fitting to eat wherever you live. Excluding matzah loaves of the Thanksgiving offering that can only be Yerushalayim. If it's a matzah that's basically, mundane.